What's up guys, welcome back to Auto Car, where we dive into the classics, the beasts, and the machines that shape the roads. Today, we're going back to a true American legend, the 1987 Ford F100 4x4. Now, this isn't just another vintage truck. This is the final chapter in the F100 nameplate, the last year it proudly wore those three numbers before Ford retired it in favor of the F150. In this 4x4 variant, it's as rugged, capable, and full of character as they come. Let's start with the basics, because if you know trucks, you know that 1987 was a big year for Ford's F-Series. It was the year of evolution rather than revolution. The F-Series had been the best-selling truck in America for several years running by that point, and Ford wasn't about to mess with a winning formula. The F100 4x4 in '87 was built to be tough, reliable, and practical. But it also had just enough refinement to step into the modern era. So let's take a walk around it. First impressions. This truck has presence. Big, boxy lines that scream utility and old-school grit. The grille is classic Ford, bold and simple, with that iconic blue oval front and center. The dual headlights, square and confident, give it a no-nonsense look. The hood stretches out like a runway, flat and powerful. It's the kind of design that doesn't apologize, it just gets the job done. One of the most interesting things about the 1987 model year is that it marked the transition into fuel injection. That's right, gone were the days of carburetors in the F100. Ford equipped these trucks with electronic fuel injection, which means better cold starts, improved fuel efficiency, and smoother throttle response. Under the hood, you had a few options, but if you were lucky, you got the 5.0-liter V8. That engine, also known as the 302 Windsor, was a workhorse. Not the most powerful by modern standards, sure, but it was torquey, dependable, and easy to wrench on. Now, what makes this 4x4 version special is its go-anywhere capability. It came with solid axles, leaf springs, and a part-time four-wheel drive system that could be engaged manually. That means you could take this thing off-road, through snow, mud, or rocky trails, and it wouldn't even flinch. It wasn't built to be a mall crawler, this was a truck for the dirt, for the worksite, for the backcountry. The 4-speed manual transmission, often paired with the V8, gave drivers full control. And that mechanical feeling, the engagement, the feedback, the real connection between driver and machine, that's something modern trucks just don't replicate. This was when driving a truck felt like driving a truck. You had to know what you were doing. You had to respect it. And in return, it delivered. Inside, the cabin was simple, but that's part of the charm. You got a bench seat, often covered in vinyl or cloth, depending on the trim. A big steering wheel. Analog gauges that told you exactly what you needed to know and nothing more. No touchscreens, no digital distractions. Just oil pressure, temperature, speed, and fuel. The dashboard was straight-edged, functional, and designed to take abuse. And that classic floor-mounted shifter. A thing of beauty. One cool thing to note, 1987 was the first year for rear anti-lock brakes on the F-Series. That was a big deal at the time. It showed Ford was thinking about safety, even on a rugged work truck. Combine that with improved corrosion protection and better build quality overall, and you've got a truck that could last decades, and many have. Now, if you're lucky enough to find a well-kept 1987 F100 4x4 today, you're looking at a piece of history. A lot of people overlook it because the F150 gets all the spotlight. But the F100 is a little more unique, especially in its final year. It's rarer. It has that underdog appeal. And when you get it on the road, or off it, you understand why these old trucks still matter. Let's talk performance. By today's standards, it's modest. The 5.0-liter V8 put out around 185 horsepower and just over 270 pound-feet of torque. But it wasn't about 0 to 60 times. It was about hauling, towing, and climbing over obstacles without a second thought. These trucks could tow up to 7,500 pounds when properly equipped. And with the right gearing, they were unstoppable in the woods or on a farm. Maintenance on these trucks is straightforward. They're from an era when engines were simple, electronics were minimal, and everything under the hood was laid out with logic. You didn't need a laptop to diagnose a problem, just a wrench and some experience. That's one reason the F100 4x4 still has a dedicated following. It's a dream for DIYers and a solid platform for restoration projects. Now let's be real, driving a 1987 F100 4x4 today isn't for everyone. It's big, it's slow by modern standards, it drinks gas, and it doesn't have Bluetooth or automatic climate control. But if you appreciate authenticity, if you want a driving experience that's real and raw, this truck delivers. Every time you turn the key, you're reminded that you're behind the wheel of something built for a purpose. And let's not forget, these trucks look cool. That squared-off body style is back in fashion. People are spending big money to make new trucks look like this. The steel, the stance, the simplicity, it's aged like fine whiskey. And when you see one of these rolling down the road today, heads turn. People nod. It commands respect. So whether you're a collector, a builder, or just someone who loves old-school American iron, the 1987 Ford F100 4x4 is worth your attention. It's the end of an era, the last breath of a legendary badge, and a truck that still punches above its weight almost 4 decades later. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's deep dive. If you enjoyed hanging out with us and checking out this legendary pickup, hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever owned or driven an F100, and make sure you're subscribed to Autocar for more classic rides, in-depth reviews, and everything automotive. Until next time, keep it classic, keep it real, and keep on driving.